It still doesn't feel like we're living full-time in our RV. It still feels like we're on a vacation, a camping trip. We've covered a lot of kilometers, 2,500 so far. It might take a while before it actually sinks in that this is our new home and our new life.
The last few days before we left were really busy. Luckily, we prepared well in advance and had already done many modifications and additions to the truck and the trailer in preparation for this journey. We were mostly packed, but the last week was still busy. We got our hair cut and in Heather's case, colored as well.
Thanks to Nikki from Sculpture's Hair Salon for taking care of my hair needs while I was in Edmonton. Nikki, I'll be back to see you next time I'm in the city. We chopped and froze food, shopped for any last-minute items we needed, and then packed all the little things we left for the end, because we're still using them.
As we were packing up, we had our first mini snafu. The trailer key stuck in the lock and we couldn't get it out or couldn't get it unlocked. I had to take a ladder to climb in the window. I climbed in the window in order to take apart the lock inside. We still had a functioning upper lock, but I had to cut off the key on the bottom lock and disable it.
By Sunday night, all our things were in the trailer, and we slept in the camper where it was parked on the street in front of our daughter Pamela's house. Monday morning, we had little to do other than eat breakfast, do a quick once-over to make sure we didn't forget anything, and then off we went. 4 blocks away, we turned around because we realized we forgot something. But by 10 a.m. we were on our way.
We drove for 2.5 hours to Lloydminster, a city that straddles both the province of Alberta and Manitoba. Half the city is in each province. We stopped to visit Carrie and Paige, friends of ours who made us a fantastic lunch, and spent a few hours relaxing and chatting together while David enjoyed playing with Paige's daughters.
We were making good time and decided to drive further than we originally planned, and we ended up at a Flying J gas station in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan for one night of boondocking. This was our first time staying in a gas station parking lot, but it was great. The large trucks were in one section, and we parked in the opposite lot with a couple of other RVs.
When boondocking in a gas station, we don't disconnect from the truck or do anything fancy. We just stop, climb in the camper, and then we relax and sleep there for the night. There were many other RVs in the lot. Class C's, travel trailers, and a van, I think. It was a great spot to sleep for one night.
The next day, we drove to Little Manitou Lake, known as the Dead Sea of Canada because it's a saltwater lake, about half as salty as the actual Dead Sea. We were early for our check-in at our campsite, which worked in our favor in some ways because we ended up spending the day at the beach with our truck and trailer parked just across the street. Our grandson David is with us for the first 6 weeks of our adventure, and we were quickly finding out that he is a water-loving guy.
Hey!
The thing we remember the most about crossing Saskatchewan is the wind.
The wind in the prairies was so strong that we had to fight to hold our truck doors from ripping off as we came in and out. On day one, we had a headwind and burned through of like $220 in gas just to get from Edmonton to Saskatoon. Once we left Little Manitou Lake, we were relieved that the winds had shifted to our rear and we ended up going twice as far on the same amount of gas. Insane. Again, we were anxious to cover some ground, so we hit the road and drove all day to RVing National Park. That's in Manitoba, northwest of Winnipeg. It was a relief to have 3 nights and 2 full days of downtime here. David and I went swimming at the beach. We walked around the huge campground and hiked a marsh trail that David was really enthralled with. There was a beaver dam, lots of insects and leeches swimming in the marsh that we could see from the boardwalk.
Too quickly the days went by, and we had another day of driving. I know we had an agenda to get across the country in a certain amount of time, so we did some really long days of driving. We're looking forward to some longer stays at each place in the future.
We planned on being one more day boondocking in Manitoba, but their COVID restrictions were tighter than the rest of the country at this time, so we decided to drive straight through to Ontario.
It was exciting to cross into Ontario. Since we were both born and raised in this province, it felt like coming home. Although we were still 1,700 kilometers from what we really actually called home. Northern Ontario is so beautiful. The large rocks, clear lakes, and majestic trees. Alberta has beautiful lakes too, but as we learned very early on, many of them are sloughs, or they're very cold glacial lakes. Just different.
Just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. We arrived at Rushing River Provincial Park, which we didn't really have reservations for, but easily got a spot there. We hiked a couple of trails, swam in the crystal clear river, and once again, enjoyed some downtime from our driving.
Our next stop was Sandbar Lake Provincial Park. Living up to its name, it had a beautiful sandy beach with shallow, warm waters filled with sandbars.
We were surprised one morning by a bald eagle swooping down over our heads in the campsite and breaking branches as he veered into the woods. It's amazing that he wasn't injured with all the noise that he made as he crashed through.
We had a great path down to a rocky shoreline where David enjoyed many hours throwing stones and saving the June bugs that were crashing into the water by the dozens.
This is the life, Nana. This is the life.
You would think that driving 330 kilometers would be quick and easy, but when towing a trailer, we drive a bit slower, and with stops it ends up being longer than we would expect. Luckily, the scenery has been awesome with sightings of 2 majestic moose and a couple of deer, as well as the rocks, cliffs, lakes, streams. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Sleeping Giant Provincial Park was next on our list. This will be a park we revisit in the future when we have more time, for sure. So many trails, spectacular vistas with rocky cliffs and stone formations. Lake Superior's coast is a Canadian gem, and Sleeping Giant is an amazing place. Can't wait to come here again. David and I hiked the 2.5-kilometer Sea Lion Trail to the Rock Arch, while Mike combined a bike and hike to the top of the Giant Trail, a 25-kilometer trip.
And then another long day of driving. We tried to get in early to Lake Superior Provincial Park, which is our next site, but being a Sunday, they were full. Thanks to the Campendium website. Thanks, Campendium.
Oh, yeah.
We were able to find this absolutely amazing boondocking location next to a waterfall near Wawa.
David kept saying, "Do we have to leave? Can't we just camp here for a few more days?" We had a great view right from the trailer and a big picnic pavilion all to ourselves. This one is a gem, and we ended up pretty happy that we didn't get into the provincial park early.
As for troubles other than the trailer lock issue, we have one trailer tire that seems to have a bit of a slow leak, but we've topped it up and it seems to be okay now. Thanks to our TPMS system, we have peace of mind while driving because we can easily see where the tire pressures are at any time.
All in all, it has been a great experience, which we're glad to have been able to share with David, who's a great camper and a nature lover. We have such a beautiful, diverse country. Each location has something different and unique to offer. Watch for our campground review videos for more detailed overviews of each of the campgrounds we stayed at. We hope that they can help you choose some great travel destinations for your future trips. In the meantime, we're glad you're joining us on the journey, and we look forward to seeing you on the road.
Check out some of our other videos and subscribe to our channel.
New content will be posted weekly.